Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Sahaj Times. The newly married couples and the current Yuva Shakti are also product of our Sahaj schools. And the future of Sahaja Yoga lies in the kids, the Padawans, who are currently growing up in the Sahaj environment. So, today we have invited the principals of the Sahaj schools to have a conversation with them. Keep in mind that since we are going to have 5 guests, we'll be talking a little bit in general and then dive deeper into specific topics in single episodes. So it's time to introduce my co-host. But for this part of the episode, it will be a little bit different because I won't have Fabrizio as my co-host, but I will have a female co-host. She has an education degree. Her kid is at the Borothin school. She's helping in Cabella school right now. And she was there when Cabella school started as a teacher. So let's give a big hand, a virtual big hand to Pragya. Welcome, Pragya.
Thank you so much, Lele. Thank
Uh,
you.
Thank you for joining. Thank you for accepting.
Thank you for
Please.
having me. This is so fun.
Yeah, this is really fun. You will
This
see,
is fun.
this is the boring part, if I may. Can I give you a fun thing to do,
Tell me.
which is introducing our guests?
Yes, I'd be so happy to. So, we're having 3 principals, directors with us today. One is Uncle Mathieu from Cabella School, and we have Auntie Mary and Auntie Michaela from the Devi School.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Thank you
How are
so
you?
much for joining us.
Yeah, super
Thanks.
fun. Yeah, thanks for having us. We're excited.
Our pleasure.
Maybe we can just start with a little general information about your schools. You could first tell us what your role is there and when did the school open. Tell us how many students you have, just so we get to know your schools a little bit. We can start with the Devi School, please.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Jai Shimadaji. It's really nice to be on this very famous podcast where we've enjoyed Fabrizio and Lele for while I'm cooking in the kitchen, I have my phone up and I'm chopping and I'm watching you guys. So it's quite an honor to actually be one of the guests. We're from the Devi School. So my name is Mary and I'm the director. Michaela is our principal, and we started the school in 2017. So we're in our 7th year, and it's a middle school, high school. So we have students from grades 6 to 12. When we started, we had only grades 6 to 10 because we didn't know what was going to happen and how it was going to go, and we didn't have very many staff. And we said, okay, maybe we just stick to grade 10. And then there was a strong appeal from the parents that we add grade 11 and 12 so that students could actually graduate from this as a Sahaj school. So now we can give the Nova Scotia high school diploma. I should probably say we are located in Nova Scotia, which is one of the easternmost provinces in beautiful Canada.
Beautiful. Thank you. And how many students did you say you have now?
63 or 64? 64, I think.
So the majority of that would be in high school, or how do you split between middle school and high school?
I think we're more or less even, I think. Yeah, it's more, maybe I think a little bit more in high school.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, great. Mm-hmm. And Uncle Mathieu, could you tell us a bit about Cabella School, when it started, how many students you have, what your role is?
Yeah, sure. Jai Shri Mataji. Thank you for having us. So Cabella School started really from the desire of Shri Mataji. And Shri Mataji expressed their desire to start a school in Cabella in 2008. And he started with 33 children, just as a boarding. The children were going to public school, Italian public school, and coming back to the ashram and having a ashram life. But then Shri Mataji asked to have English school, her her own school. So in 2009, then it started with the first class 1, so student of 6 years old, and slowly opening one class after another. We have now, since 2013, 5 classes.
Amazing.
And this year we started the year with 50 students, which is quite a lot for us because everything is the same in the same building. The dorm and the classrooms are in the same building. So we are probably, I said that every year since 4 years, but we are probably at the maximum.
Yeah.
Wow. And when I was there in 2009, we didn't have so many extracurricular activities. We had art and dance and music. I was just wondering, what clubs or extra activity classes do you offer now?
Yeah, so for us, Shumanaji gave quite some precise direction to follow. So she asked us to have the main academic subject in the morning and then extra curricular activity in the afternoon. So in the afternoon, we have everyday sports or outdoors.
Nice.
Outdoors is mainly playing outside. And then we have art, Sahaj classes, musical instruments, drama, and then some projects like science project and world and people project. So that's during the week. And the Saturday we have a club. The children can choose a club between what the staff is proposing them. So stitching, dance, martial arts, music creation, basketball or football, woodwork, gardening, origami,
It's
cooking.
incredible.
Now, we don't have all of that at the same time, but we have 5 clubs per term, and they choose one that they would like to follow for one term.
So you have not only grown in numbers, you've grown in activities and things for the children to do. That's amazing.
We are trying. It's also very nice for the staff to share their passion. It's because it's a sweet moment because the children choose this activity.
That's really nice.
So it's relaxed.
Nice. And how about at the Devi School? Do you have some extracurricular activities going on over there?
Yeah, well, most of the like arts and sports or music is part of the curriculum. So they're all classes where they're also included. And then it depends a lot which staff we have here, what activities we have. But actually, since COVID ended, we have a lot of sports because it's, teenagers, they like to move and run. So we have a high school girls volleyball team, and it's also exciting because we compete with other high schools.
Wow!
So we can go and play against other high schools, which is exciting, no? And it's especially exciting because we don't even have a gym, but we participate in sports. So it's amazing.
How does that work? Where do they practice?
Well, sometimes we just practice outdoors if the weather permits, because we're in Canada. As you can imagine, basketball season is in February, so we cannot practice outside. So we have from the neighboring town, Liverpool, the high school there. They've become our friends, I would say. They let us use their gym once a week, or we go to another town, or we have another school now that is our friend in another town. We can use their gym also once a week, and then there's another place where we can go and we have to pay a little bit. So yeah, our sports, you have to be really dedicated if you want to play sports, because you have to drive somewhere. It takes quite some time. And
are the sports, sorry to interrupt you, are the sports run by staff from the school, or do you have people from outside coming to help?
Yeah. So Mary used to be the high school boys basketball coach. That was last year.
Great.
Here we have middle school basketball. So that's Baptiste. I coach the volleyball team. We have track and field coming up.
That's a big one. Don't forget table tennis.
Table tennis is
that's amazing.
Cool.
Devi School, we have, I forget which age, I think it's middle school boys. We are the defending provincial Nova Scotia table tennis champions, and we have the banner And the reason why we're the provincial champions for table tennis is because that is the one thing that we have downstairs that we can fit is the ping pong. We don't have a volleyball court, we don't have badminton, we don't have a track. Basketball, we have
but the fact that you're still engaging in all these sports without the physical space for it, I mean, you know, the basketball court or whatever, that's incredible. That's amazing.
Can I ask a question before we go back to Cabella School, and also before we go further with the questions? Because there is like the first difference that comes to my mind between Cabella School and Devi School is that behind Cabella School there was like Shimadaji's project, and there was like a starting point. How did you manage to start a school, like an high school like this? Where did you start?
It's a long story, but in a nutshell, we were looking to start a middle school, actually, Lele. I mean, we were thinking maybe grades 6, 7, 8, 9. And we were looking, actually, we looked in the UK, we looked in Romania, we looked in Spain. I think we were thinking about looking in Switzerland, but it's prohibitively expensive. And then there was a school in this tiny village where Marcel, my husband, and I were living called Mill Village, and they had closed the school because there weren't enough children. It's very rural where we are. Obviously, if there's only 600-700 people living here. And they were selling this school. I forget how many square meters. Marcel knows these things. We don't know. And it's on 5 acres. It's very big. There's a river, everything. And they were selling it for 49,000 Canadian dollars, which is really cheap. But then Marcel was reading the fine print, and it said if there's a not-for-profit that's interested, they would give the school for $1.
Wow.
And
that's
then,
even cheaper.
Yeah. So then I remember having a conversation with Marcel. I was like, no, you know, Canada, I don't know. It doesn't, people maybe won't come. It seems far away. Everything. He said, no, let's try. So we put the proposal, and the municipality, the county where we live very nicely is called Queens County. So this is Shimadaji's county where we live. And the government, you can say, of Queens County agreed and said, yeah, these people have been teaching this meditation for about a decade in this area. They seem like nice people. So we suddenly had a huge school. And then things went very, very quickly. We started a website, and right away we had a lot of yogi parents signing up their children to come. We decided to do grades 6 to 10, as I mentioned. But we didn't have anybody applying to be staff, which had lots of kids like, yes, please, here's the kids. Not any applications for staff. How is this going to work? But then we had some very brave souls, yuvas and staff who came to this part of Canada. And then it just started very quickly, actually. Lele, we couldn't think, I'm a teacher by profession and by practice and experience. And I was thinking, guys, nothing's ready. We had not one pen, one laptop, one book, but there was this momentum to start. So we were able to start within a couple months. It was quite extraordinary. And if I can just quickly mention on the financial side, because it was a bit of a miracle. So we got the school for $1, and we secured a building to buy. The owners were very benevolent with us, so we had a place for the kids to stay. But what happened, one day we saw we had a donation from China, and the message came that they gave 9,000 Canadian, and we were like, wow, like that was the biggest donation we had. Wow, that's really, really going to help. And then when we looked closer, actually it was a donation of $99,000.
Oh, wow.
It came from China. And
wow,
that is why we could start that's why we could start. Actually, it was big thanks to the Chinese collective. Yeah, they removed the final obstacle. And
that's incredible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, if the Chinese collective wants to send something to such times, feel free to do that. To join. No, that was amazing. Like, it's a really, really brave, and I love it. Really cool.
Wow. On the academic front, I'm curious, how do your students' academic levels compare to the local students' academic levels? Maybe Uncle Mathieu, you can share.
I mean, we are international school, so it's difficult to compare.
Doing a Cambridge curriculum.
Doing a Cambridge curriculum compared to the Italian curriculum.
Or maybe compared to the British students, if British primary students, I don't know. How to answer
I don't know. I have no comparison.
Okay.
Just what I can share with you is that our Italian student or our student that are resident in Italy, they have to pass an exam in a public school here to prove that they have the level of Italian, which means that they have a double curriculum. So we have a professional teacher supporting, and in few hours, by Shumataji's grace, they can pass this exam every year. And it's quite intense. I mean, they have from class 3, they have history, geography, science, Italian, English, it's not so bad for them, and math. With professional teachers listening to them, asking questions.
Wow.
So, Cambridge International is quite high level in terms of academic. And then after, if we compare to Italian, it's just different. I mean, history and geography, we try to have some things in common, of course, in our curriculum. For math, it's a completely different approach. So the teachers are juggling between the two curriculum to try to do it well. But the children especially the Italian children are quite
they're managing
strong.
Yes.
It's quite something.
Nice. Do you prepare the students for a non-Sahaj environment, either the local schools or the universities? Auntie Mary, do you? Sorry, or anyone.
I was gonna it's interesting. It's an interesting question actually for Mathieu because of the age that you're dealing with, Mathieu, because not all of your kids are heading, for example, to the Devi school.
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Yeah, we have the two, let's say the two ways. One way is to prepare them for the Devi school, and one way is to prepare them for any non-Sahaj school. The big question for us is the language. So, for example, if we have a child from France or from Germany or Switzerland, and they will in class 6 enter in a French
local school
or German local school, then it can be a challenge. So we keep some classes of native language.
Nice.
For them to have kind of a minimum, and of course we ask the parents to also make them work during the holiday to be able to, for the children not to be too much in difficulty when they will change. In general, for academic is not such a problem, I must say, because the curriculum is quite solid.
Yep.
For the Devi school, it's very much more on independence that we are trying to work, and we are working together.
Okay, for them to have more autonomy.
Yeah, because Cabella school is just a building, so we are just. You have an adult every 2 meters. You have an adult for you, and then they go to the Devi school where the space is bigger, and that's I mean they enjoy so much because.
Which I was going to say, for that age, they really appreciate having the space by then.
Absolutely, and it's so vital
with the buildings, but also as we were talking about with all the sports. I mean, that's what they need at that age, isn't it?
Yeah,
but with that comes a lot of autonomy that they have to gain.
Yeah, that's which is I must say it's a process to prepare, especially the boys.
Yeah.
To make them ready is in this aspect of independence is quite a challenge, but we are trying.
So, how do you prepare a student, for example, to go from Cabella school to Devi school, knowing that autonomy is going to be something that they will have to face there?
I mean, slowly, we try to ask them to ask us to do less things for them.
Okay.
And also I mean, for example, they used to have classes very small.
Yes.
And so they are 5, 6 into the class. So they are asking 100 questions and the teacher is already there to answer. But starting in class 5, we ask them to really try by themselves to find the answer before asking.
Nice.
And it's a big change. I remember last year, some children came to me in the office, Uncle Mathieu, that our teachers are very mean with us. It's not going very well. It's difficult. And oh, really? What's going on? They are not asking or giving the answers to our questions. And, okay, so we have a big circle time with the teachers, and we had to explain them that they have to grow up and they have to find their own answers by themselves before asking the teacher to solve their problem. So it's a process. Okay. And in the dorm, we are trying slowly also to have an uncle that is witnessing the situation and
instead
not
of stepping in immediately,
taking them out of the bed, brush your teeth, all the teeth up
play
and down.
ping pong.
Go to your shower, open the water, shower is with water.
Okay, let them think a little bit for themselves.
But it takes time. This is one aspect, and also for the homework, to let them more and more dealing with their homework by themselves and follow, because they are so used to have
their being helped.
So that's the process.
Is there a process between the two schools that you have of transitioning kids between Cabella School and Devi School? Do you work together to transition these children? How do you work together as two schools?
We communicate before, because I communicate with Mary and Michaela to tell them how many children I have. First, I must say my job is from class 3 to tell them, put your name in the list of the Devi School, the parents. Because you have some children that would say, no, I want to go back home. I don't want to go far. And then in class 5, they say, no, I want to go in the Devi School. My friends are going. I want to go. Absolutely, I want to go. And then if the parents didn't start doing the application, it's a bit complicated. So it started there.
Okay.
Then after we communicate, I ask the parents to tell me what is the project for their children, and then I shared with Mary and Michaela. And then after I collect from the team what I can share on the children themselves, and also slowly we know, also because we have some children close to us in the Devi School, so we know how it works and we can see what is difficult, so we can anticipate a bit and say,
that's good.
This aspect will be maybe a bit difficult. And then during the year, also Mary and Michaela can contact me if there is something that is a bit difficult with the child, to see how was it in Cabella, because we have this issue, and then we share together. And me, I try to collect the inputs from them to try to improve our preparation slowly, year by year.
Yeah, perfect. It's so important, isn't it? To help transition these children, because they go from being the big kings and queens in Cabella School to suddenly the little fish at the Devi School. There's like, and so it's a lot of new learning they have to go through, and a lot of new skills they have to gain, and they have to survive somehow, and they do, right?
They do,
they manage. I was just going to say, it helps that Mathieu has been here, and of course Mathieu's very sweet wife Laurence was also here volunteering for some time. So then I remember that actually being quite an important moment, Mathieu, when Laurence was here, because she could see firsthand, the little ones especially, she'd say, okay, now I understand it, and now I can feel myself, this gap between how we're managing the grade 5 in Cabella School and the reality of the Devi School. And when they come, well, then suddenly, as you said, the kings and queens, and then they're standing in line for food, and then there's like
they actually see the kings and queens.
6'2" already with a mustache.
Yeah.
Oh God, like
wow. Do you tend to keep the middle school and high school separated a bit because they're different ages? or is everything sort of one school?
It's a little bit separated, like it's one school, but because our dining hall is also not so big right now, so first the middle school eats and then the high school eats, and this high school of course have a few more privileges or allowed to do some things that the middle school is not so allowed to. So we try to keep it a little bit separate. It's a big difference in age, but on the other hand, it's also very cute. Like this year's especially the older boys taking care of the younger boys. There's very cute and nice relationships, and they like to climb on that big guy. Then you have 3 6th graders climbing on that 6-foot tall guy. It's very sweet, and for them it's also very good, no? Because they look up to them and they want to be like them. Oh, that guy plays basketball, so I'm going to play basketball.
Yes.
Then they borrow a sweatshirt from that guy or something. So it's actually very sweet relationships.
That's so nice.
Of course, I mean, what grade 12 is doing, grade 6 cannot do. And I expect different behavior from a grade 6 student and from a grade 12 student. Yeah, we're more lenient on grade 12. Soon they're out in their own life. So, of course.
You're more lenient on grade 12. That's interesting.
Yeah, of course. Almost adults.
With something like bedtime, or if they skip breakfast, like, okay, if you're hungry.
That makes sense. Yeah, of course.
Of course, yeah.
Wow.
They need to, you asked Pragya about preparing the kids for life after. And we almost have little bit this kind of not reservation, but concern that Mathieu expressed that there's somebody there. So these kids are heading out to university, and we've had now 4 graduating classes, and they're studying around the world, and things are going well. Nice. But we also want them to have a taste of that autonomy and that feeling of responsibility. And
that's really important.
So it's not the dorm uncle like, boys, are you in your PJs, or girls? So we kind of leave the.
That's really good. Yeah.
Oldest ones, they need that. They need that space, but it's all relative, because it helps also that we've been to Cabella. We know what the school looks like, and the space is constricted. I mean, hopefully we're all praying for that, Mathieu, that one day there's a little bit more, physical space in Cabella School. Of course, we're all aware that it's a bit small, but then when they come here and suddenly it feels like the whole world is to them. Yeah, but then the boys and girls who are 18, some of them 19, Mill Village feels very, very
small.
over the years, it's all a little bit relative.
Wow.
And to receive them really as like prepubescent children, like really, really little girls and little boys, and then moving through puberty, adolescence. That's always fun, right? And then then they become teenagers, and then they're cool, and then they almost leave, in a way, they almost leave those teenage years behind, and they are dipping the toes in adulthood, and then the conversations become like a little bit more.
They change a bit. There's a turning.
Yeah, this maturity, and to have that whole world, to be witness to that and to work with these kids it's very, very busy, but it's also fascinating, really fun.
Do you prepare them in a way that when they're going to go to university or go out into the real world, so to say, do you have conversations with these older children about the pressures and challenges they may face, or is it like, you'll see for yourself? Off you go.
Well, we talk about that. So at lunch, at dinner, in class, whenever it comes up, we're part of the process, looking for universities. We're excited if they get the spot. We're sad with them if they don't get into their favorite university. I mean, of course, we're there with them on the whole way. And then, we had someone now this year and last year who did like a real little seminar, what to expect from university, how to apply for grants, all that kind of stuff. So that's more the technical side. And then, we talk about how do you want to live? Are you going to a city where there's a lot big collectivity? Do you want to live in an ashram? Are you going somewhere where there's other yuvas? Are you going somewhere that there are no yuvas? How are you going to handle that? And so on. But it's conversations. I mean, and for everybody, yeah, they have to take their own decisions, of course.
Yeah, of course.
But for us, it's also interesting, no? We are really interested, and we're like, oh no, but this is that really what you want to study, and why? So yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not fully detached, is the
No.
truth.
not at all.
And because you become very attached to the kids. But I wanted to add one thing to what Michaela said very nicely. Also, when she mentioned, in the off times, so during lunch or dinner on the weekends, and you really develop, as Mathieu well knows. Anyway, you also worked in Sahaj school, Prague. You develop really your family. You're really
Yes,
their
the bonds.
and it's not just myself or Michaela or Marcel who's speaking with them. So these kids have this enormous benefit and blessing to have yuvas.
Yeah.
Some of them, like young. I mean, our youngest, I think, is 22, staff member. I mean, the age doesn't matter, but a gentleman who's retired,
Yeah.
happened to have a PhD, had worked at Princeton. So
they have the whole range of the family.
Exactly. Different education themselves, but also life experiences where we're born. I happen to be born in the place where the school is,
Yeah.
but not, and 95% of the staff are not Canadian. So they can also hear a little bit about, okay, if you study in the UK, this is what it's like in the Chelsham ashram, or in the Netherlands, or in Ukraine, or in Germany, Austria, like this. This is very helpful for the kids as well. Yeah.
That's one of the big benefits of these Sahaj schools, isn't it? That they really have this exposure to a whole big family of different ages that they can gain different knowledge from and different skill sets from. That's one of the really...
Especially if you have viewers who maybe have just graduated, it's different than when I went to university. They have been maybe to... Then we have, of course, university in North America is different than in Europe and Asia, and we have graduates from all continents. So it's really interesting. Yeah.
And then you also, sorry, I'm just going to throw this in. One more thing. You also have the student who is not university bound, who is not college. And that's great. We always keep in mind the school, Shamanji said, Christ didn't read one book. So it is cool. And we're preparing the kids.
Yes.
Educate, I'm a teacher myself, and my experiences with the university degrees, so on and so forth. And my husband, not at all.
Right.
And he's also part of the school. So he's a living example of somebody who did not go the academic route.
Right, exactly.
He's very happy. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Kids who are athletes, student athletes who are artists, musicians. Michaela worked in addition to her academic credentials, she worked in theater. So we have kids interested in that, and they have this living example. So I think we also need to keep this balance. It's very nice what Mathieu said when Shamalaji herself was saying, we have the academics, it's extremely important, and we have the arts as well.
Yes.
When you get into high school, then you start living and breathing that, and these kids are making decisions like, perhaps university isn't for me. I'm going to go to an acting school, or I want to be a professional musician. And we're there 100% to support that. We are not funneling kids into university if that's not their destiny, if that's not what they want. Yeah.
You're just providing the well-rounded picture and see what they do with it.
Yeah.
I do have a question for, I'm sorry, Pragya, I do have a question for both schools, I would say. I think it's a bit a generic question, but let's try. And let's see. About the staff. Most of them are also people that grew up in Sahaj schools. And not really. Okay. But also, maybe they might be working in a Sahaj schools because they're living a transition period in their lives. So they don't really know what to do, or maybe someone just wants a new experience. How does it prepare them for a non-Sahaj environment?
It's so good to talk about staff. Mathieu, I know you have lots of experience, perhaps your staff in general. Is it true? Is it a true assumption to say, Mathieu, your staff tends to be a little bit younger on average, or am I incorrect in my?
This year, yes, very much. I mean, this year we had some staff arriving at 17.
Oh.
And so I had to negotiate. That
might not work at the Devi school.
I had to negotiate because, they had 18 in September.
Yeah.
we did the interviews, we checked vibrations. They really wanted to come. They were in Sahaj schools. They wanted to be. So vibrations were cool. They are here. Yeah. Coming back to what you said, Lele, what is interesting is that we have some born in Sahaj Yoga, in Sahaj school or non-Sahaj schools, and we have some who are not. And this is very important to have the balance, because the one who got self-realization maybe 17, 18, 19, 20, they value Sahaj Yoga very, very much. And they want to take everything and to learn everything, and they are extremely serious in their Sahaj practice because they feel they are behind. And the other yuvas who are born in, they have amazing qualities, they have amazing powers, but they are not always, but sometimes they are not aware of this inside them. And they have to discover that, oh yeah, I have this inside, and the value of what they had since they are born. And the mix is great, because we can see that they react differently to things and they learn from each other. And if we can, by the grace of Shumataji, have this unity, I think the collective, the collectivity in the Sahaj school is such an amazing thing, because you have absolutely no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be collective.
Yes.
And with different personalities, but you have to melt in the collective and to take advantage of the collective, to take the support of the collective, because it's so intense. So when everything is, all the pieces of the puzzle are coming together, it's really amazing how they learn from each other, and how the children learned. And as you said, Mary, they need to have also, or Michaela, you said, to learn from someone who is not so far away. I mean, I'm very old. I'm Uncle Mathieu. But if there is someone who is 17 or 18 or 19,
they're more relatable also.
Yeah, they look and say, okay, I may become like her or like him. So they come and they come with their questions. And if I may come back to just the subject before, I just wanted to add two things. I'm sorry, I'm skipping, but you said about the two schools. For us in Cabella, it's very precious to be connected to the Devi school, because we can see with the feedback from the Devi school the result of what we are doing.
Nice.
Including the things that are not working so well. And it's difficult when the children are going in their country. It's different. It's more difficult to have feedback. But when it's in the family, when it's between us, we can see, okay,
how it works.
This thing we are not so great. We need to improve. So it's very rich for us to have those feedback, to understand what we are doing well and what we have to improve. And the second thing you say, to prepare them for the other schools. For us, one thing important is to prepare them also to non-yogi environment.
Yes.
Because most of them, they came from Borothin.
Yep.
95% of them. Borothin, Cabella school. They are in a bubble, complete bubble. And we can see also sometimes they have fear.
About going back to the local school?
About non-yogis.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't know how to react to, for example, if we have an event and we have children or young adults from other schools, they just look and and I think there are two things that we have to help them, and we try to help them. One is fear, and one is extremely judgmental. And then they become arrogant, and then say, this one, look, she doesn't know how to behave. And this is something that we have to discuss with them, the respect that they have to have also with non-yogis, and this not to have fear, because it's not the point. But they are, for us, they are, and probably after in the Devi school they continue, but they start to have this trying to understand what is Sahaj, what is non-Sahaj, and where, especially the girls, because they are more mature, where should I be? I would like to share a small anecdote. I was with class 4 this week, and then they had to write fairy tales.
Yeah.
So they wrote their fairy tale, and then they had to act there. And so I was with them and looking at. And at the end of the fairy tale, they were a bit. I could see they're a bit. And they get together.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
You get to
What do you mean? But uncle,
Yeah.
it's not very Sahaj. They get married.
Oh.
How is it that it's not Sahaj to get married?
Yeah.
And then it opens to a conversation, because in there they were a bit like shy,
Yes.
because the prince and the princess got married, and
Yeah.
they got children. So they got together. And it's, okay, basta, finish.
Yeah.
Without such match, there is a.
So just to make them realize that, okay, you
Yeah.
have one vision, that is the Sahaj marriage, and it's absolutely amazing and great, and a blessing given by Srimadaji. But there is many other things that are not non-Sahaj.
Mm.
It's not bad. And then we open the conversation about those kind of subjects. But they have a lot of
Yes.
this kind of subjects in their head.
Do you ever have moments that Cabella School interacts with non-yogi children? Like,
Yes,
I don't know.
Yes, we have. Much less than the Devi school, but we have some moments around Italian writers. There's an association here, and then they have writers who are coming and do workshops.
Wow, that's so
we
cool.
try to participate, and each school has to do something, so we manage to give self-realization somehow in the thing. We try to participate to the events that are organized by the locals here also. Like for Christmas, they go and sing some songs.
Really? That's so nice.
And then, I think it's very, very important. And we want to develop that a bit more and more, to have the local connection, and for the children to be really comfortable with the non-yogis.
That's so important.
Uncle, the transition between Cabella to Devi School, does it exist also from Borothin to Cabella?
Oh, yeah.
So like communication, anything like that also between you two?
Absolutely. We are really really connected also with Borothin. We asked Borothin, actually, now since few years, as we have very little place in the school, the priorities for class 1 coming from Borothin or Canajoharie or Vienna kindergarten, Sahaj schools. That's our priority. And we try to not cut this, how you say, this line from Borothin to Cabella. And but we ask Borothin, how are the children? Do they feel that they are ready?
Yeah.
Because when you start class 1, you have to be seated and learn, academic things, and it's not it's sometimes it's counterintuitive, but it's not good to push a child that is not ready to start class 1. Some countries, they have to. Italy, for example, if you have the age, you just go in class 1. Even if you're born 31st of December, as you are from this year, you have to enter class 1. Otherwise, if there is a choice, we discuss with Borothin and with the parents to see if it's the best thing to do. And also we take the maximum of inputs to see how to support the children in the school from Borothin.
And I suppose with the Borothin children, there's also a big jump in autonomy, like there is from the Cabella to Devi school, or do you feel not so much with the Borothin children?
I must say Borothin is doing a great job.
Because they're very handheld there. It's very, because they're so small, no? It's... or I don't know, maybe not.
I must say they are quite independent when they come.
Okay, nice.
The thing is the academic, that suddenly they start to learn a bit more seriously.
Yeah.
So this is
that's the bigger jump.
The job is in the class environment, the work ethics. That's the thing. And then, being far from the parents, it takes a bit of time. But a lot of things are fixed by Borothin. The children are used to really Sahaj environment.
Yeah, that's so nice.
I just want to say, as you said, just to jump in, you said that they're handheld in Borothin, but a child who's already away from their parents, away from everything that's familiar, and in a Sahaj collecting living environment, they're in general, as we know, it's not every single case, they're going to be steps ahead of a kid who's just at home in their own, small family, and then suddenly going to Cabella school. So this kind of, you have to wait in line. Normally at home at the kitchen table, you're not.
Exactly. Yes, they know the routines.
They know the routines, and there's also this autonomy and independence just because things are unfamiliar and you're in a collective environment. And about Borothin, also Canajoharie, our kids, we are benefiting still, and we have, since we started the Devi school, from both schools, because the kids who start there they bring something very strong, and we still feel it even in grade 6 right to grade 12. There's this quality or this ingredient
that remains with them.
Yes, it does. They're a little bit ahead. And also here, of course, we get kids maybe who come from public school into grade 6, or public school even into grade 9 or even 10 in some cases. So we're not dealing with, in general, what Mathieu is talking about, kind of a fear or a lack of integration. It's one of the things, if the child is from this bubble of Canajoharie or Borothin, and then Vienna kindergarten, and then into Cabella, and then here in grade 6, they're suddenly going to, hear and see some things, to be honest, that are coming from the public school, schools from around the world. So it's much
Which is not a bad thing in itself, that they're getting, it's like little drops from the outside somehow, no? Otherwise, they really are in a bubble from 4 years old until 18. So it's good to have a little mix-up also.
Yes, we have to, as Michaela said, we have very nice neighbors. We I don't mean literally neighbors, but just the towns and communities around. We're very much part of them because we need to be. Because, for example, we don't have a gym; it's just one of them. Our kids want to go out sometimes and eat a hamburger and fries and watch a movie in the cinema.
Yeah.
We don't do this every weekend, but if you have a 15-year-old, for example, once in a while, you're probably going to order a pizza and have a movie night. So we also try to create, actually, I just made a note that it's interesting listening to you talk just now, Mathieu. That was really, really interesting. Our kids, the fear that they would have that's been articulated to us, not a fear, but a concern of theirs, is that they don't want to miss anything normal. They don't want to miss out. They love their friends here, and they tend to generally think it's very beautiful here, and it's relaxed, and the school is going well. But they have this, if I was at home, I could get a part-time job. Or I was at home, I have my friends from before, or whatever. Not just missing dog or missing mom and dad and any
life. Yeah.
But as they get older, they want to make sure that they know about the world. They don't want at 15, 16, 17, 18 to feel like I'm in a bubble. Make sure, like, you're telling us the truth, right? Like we're getting the information we need. That's come up. So that's what we are dealing with more than as Mathieu described. Yeah, interesting.
I think for us also, what is very important is to build the fact that there is no taboo, that they can come and speak about any subject.
That's so important.
Because otherwise they know very well what they want us to listen to.
Yep.
So they calibrate themselves. It's like, the girls are more intelligent than the boys, but it's like the meditation. They understood very, very early.
If I sit straight, hands open, no one will.
This is what they asked me to do. Let's do it.
Then then it's done.
Okay. But they have also many questions, or they can be disturbed by things, but they feel shy because they know that it's not a very Sahaj, as they say, subject. But that's that's something very important. But also we share with the parents that there is no taboo. They can come and they can say what they have to say, including their doubt about rheumatology.
Yeah.
They can doubt. It's better that they express the doubt.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss, and then we can open something. But that's something very.
Yeah, and also that they want to be here. I mean, it's a little different when you're dealing with children, bona fide primary age school age children. But here we talk about that on our school society, that it's extremely important. That's something that's a big focus of Michela's, is to put the child really on the center stage. So there's not these conversations that are happening behind and underneath and around on top of them, that they have agency, that they really want to, that they really want to be here. That's just the first starting point. If there's any issue going on, that they're actually at the age where they're speaking about it, and their voices.
It's so important.
But this is very interesting, because even at Cabella school age, it's something very important. That if a child comes and say, I don't want to be here. I'm not happy. I don't want to be here. For us, it's a red flag. And then if the child continue to have this feeling, then there is a conversation with the parents immediately.
Sure.
And then we said to the child, we don't force you. We are not forcing you to be here. If you're not happy, you have to say mom and dad, and you have to tell them, and you have to, after it's the education, mom and dad decides. I mean, it's not our business, but this it's not a situation that we keep. If a child is saying that I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, then it has to open conversations with the parents and to understand what's going on.
Nice.
And Lele, you asked about the staffing, so I just mentioned that as well, because it's extremely important, regardless of the age of the child in a Sahaj school, that they're surrounded by folks who found Sahaj when they were 18. They were brought when they were maybe 7. Some were born in Sahaj. We have a good number of some Chinese students who were not born in Sahaj Yoga. It's maybe one of the countries in the world where Sahaj Yoga isn't as old as the UK or Australia or Switzerland or India, for example. And that everyone has a place. There's folks who came to Sahaj Yoga as an adult. You were mentioning a lot of your staff maybe went through Sahaj school themselves. It's also, that was a really good question, Lele, or a good comment, because we've always had yuvas who themselves went through Sahaj schooling. And that's so important, because they understand. I didn't go to boarding school. Michela didn't go to boarding school, and another third of our staff didn't go. But we have that little pocket of staff who did, and they know what it felt like when mom and dad drove away when they were 5 years old, or when they were 15 years old. So they can relate. So it's not just the age, this importance of the yuvas, because they can relate, or as Michela said, maybe they've only recently graduated, but it's also that they have that experience of being born. What's on their shoulders, being born in Sahaj, what's expected of them, perhaps. And also being in a boarding school. Then we have folks who weren't in a boarding school, who are a little bit older. So for us, we are, I have to say it, and Mathieu knows it's true, we're always looking for staff, because our parents want, I'm sure it's the same for you, Mathieu, but please correct me if I'm wrong, they want the staff to be 100% yogis or yoginis. That's often the expectation. But for that to be the case, we're really at the mercy of the Sangha. We need people to put up their hand, be like, I'll go do that. I'll go work with 64 teenagers and adolescents in the middle of nowhere.
Canada.
and be able to come for the year, whether they're 25 years old or 65 years old. We are constantly looking for staff, recruiting, trying to get yogis and yoginis to come, bringing their skill set, bringing their strengths. We all have weaknesses as well. And to come to be a family member. You have to love kids, even if you were in the kitchen, no matter what you're doing.
That's the minimum requirement.
It's the absolute, as long as somebody is really loving kids and interested in helping young people to grow and explore their own connection to the divine. We can't force it, obviously, as Mathieu, it was very nice what you said, and they need to be listened to. But we're all living examples of people who have chosen Sahaj Yoga. And some of them were born in Sahaj, went away, and came back. It's also very interesting for the kids to see and hear and experience. And yeah, we encourage all the staff to be very honest and open with the kids as well.
Nice.
Yeah, I have the same feeling. The transparency is very important, because my question, one of my questions with the Yuvas is, when did you decide to be a yogi?
Nice.
And how was it? And how was your process? And also, we have some young born in Sahaj Yoga that are not meditating so much.
Yeah.
So I ask also transparency on that. It's just fine if we know. In any case, we check vibrations.
Yeah.
So we ask Shrimataji her blessing, if she gives or not. This is
Exactly.
but first we discuss, and we want things to be really open. And I could see that, and I believe it's a part of our schools, is also a school for the Yuvas. And some are, I mean, it's for everyone. Even
it's growing for everyone.
Yeah, it's that's for sure. Even for us, that's absolutely. But for the Yuvas, it's also a step in their life and in their Sahaj life, because they have to meditate.
Yeah,
you have to really go deep in Sahaj, and sometimes they are a bit ashamed because the children coming from Borothin, they know all the chakras and the deities, and they are like, yeah, this child asks me about Raj Vishuddhi. I was not very sure. Uncle, can you give me some Sahaj Yoga classes? I need to read a bit because and you know, and yeah, I think that's also important. That, I mean, this Sahaj Yogi perfect doesn't exist, and then so the staff members cannot also be perfect. But we learn from their imperfection. And also children can learn from their imperfection. I remember last year, it was, I mean, funny, but a bit tense with the parents, but we had one very great staff member who did hip hop before, you know? And one day the children said, oh yeah, show us what you did. So he showed a video of YouTube. And then he realized by the reaction of the children, oh, Uncle, you said the F word.
Oh, no.
So he came in the office and he was really like,
oops, daisy.
Uncle, I did something really wrong. I'm very sorry. But I showed them a video of what I did 10 or 5 years ago. And I said the F word. So the children, when they come back home, they just go on the phone of daddy and say, Daddy, take YouTube. I will show you the thing of then I have the parents
and
saying,
you get 10 phone calls.
yeah. What about what they are? And then we can, but he took it very well. First, he said, yeah, that was before, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because I was not a Sahaj Yogi. And so now I'm doing differently, and so he took it out. But he had to manage with my support with the parents, and then we managed with the children. But it's actually, you learn, you know, it's everyone learns from this experience, even if it's not what you would like to have as a feedback from the school.
We used to say when we were there, all of us staff members, we would say it's like being in Vashi, but without the doctors, to work in a Sahaj school. It's just like a real spinning and a real cleaning. But then, you know, it's an incredible experience, and you do grow from it so much. I think staff just as much as children.
Yes.
Do you have any final things you'd like to share with the viewers about your school? Anything that comes to mind that hasn't been mentioned? Any cool projects, any short-term future goals you have in mind, or?
Can I ask you if there is like any wrong preconcept that comes maybe from the past that you still find in the parents or in other yogis, or something that you would like to assure? Maybe something that I don't know.
Maybe there is one thing that is important to realize, is that the challenges that we have are the same challenges in the non-yogis worlds. They are not.
Going to say.
It's not a pink environment where children, they don't have challenges. they have challenges, and they have big one sometimes, and they have some taboo, like everything regarding Muladhara issues, for example. This is quite something, but they have, and in my understanding, humble understanding, it's also what is the Sahaj school is a place to face things, and by Shri Mataji's grace, with all her attention, her love, the collective, the tools that she gave us to face also some difficult challenges. And as I told the parents, it's better that your child is facing this challenge at 8 years old now in the school, that together we can face it and see and pray Shri Mataji and go through it, then the child will have it alone at 25.
Yeah.
So I think that's a preconception sometimes that we have, that if I put my child in a Sahaj school, there will not any issue of the outside world will be there. No, they're all also inside, but we can deal it differently by her grace. That's
Yeah, I think what's also important to realize or to know for everybody, also the kids and the parents, is that we also have our limitations. Yeah, you cannot. Sometimes kids are not in a good shape, and then they get sent to Sahaj school, and it in the end it is not a vashi here. It is a school. Yeah, so I would say it's actually not a vashi here. You have a lot of workouts, but there are certain limitations when you can. It's irresponsible to think that some things are just going to be healed or cleared out by coming into a collective setting. On the contrary, I believe a Sahaj school, and then especially a high school, teenagers, there's so much going on. And then we come from all over the world, and then we work together and we live together. It doesn't get more complex than the environment we have. So we switch also as adults, we switch from teacher to principal to auntie,
to mother, to
boss, to so it's extremely complex. The social network or the social style of a Sahaj school is extremely complex, and the communication is very complex. So if you can take this wild ride, you will grow a lot, but not everybody can do that. So for some people it's too overwhelming, and especially if there is something, maybe some challenges that you have as an adult or as a child, then it's actually like the contrary. Yeah, it's difficult. It's too difficult. And I'm talking about mental health issues, sicknesses, anything, or where you maybe have some weak points. It's not healthy. It's not healthy to force yourself to be in an environment like that. I think it's important, because you will grow strong here, but you also have to be already kind of strong, and you have to be very collective. Yeah. So it's for me really important.
You have to be ready to keep up with the intensity, no?
It's very intense. Yeah. So
I totally support that, Michaela. Absolutely, 100%. That's also something, Lele, your question, that the parents, we have to understand that Sahaj school is not the best for every child, and it's not maybe not the best for all the years. Not everyone has to do Borothin until 18 or 19 in the Devi school. And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that the child is less. It doesn't mean that the child will not become a great Sahaj yogi or Sahaj yogini. It doesn't mean anything. It's just that everyone has different paths, and Sahaj school is one, and it's so great. But as Michaela said, for some children or for some parents, it's too much. And that's fine. We just have to find another way. And also what you said, Michaela, about the limitation of the school, that's also very important for the parents to understand. It's because sometimes, they say, but what about the music, and what about the sport, and what about this, and what about that, and what about that, and extracurricular, and you say, whoa. Here we are at Sahaj school. The Sahaj aspect is a lot. The emotional things that they are going through, the Sahaj dimension is a lot. You cannot have every single thing like it's an art school and a sports school and it's Cambridge plus and it's Sahaj and it's, you have to make a choice in the education of your children and realize that we cannot do everything. It's not possible.
You only have what you can work with.
And also for the children, I can see in the primary they are small. You cannot, they are not boxes we put things inside. Already living together, it's a big thing.
It's a big thing,
away from parents is also a big thing. Studying in English is already a big thing. And I love what Mathieu said, and I love what Michaela said. And just to add to the fun is that it's 2024. So I did not grow up, with the world in my back pocket. So we do take the phones from the kids, but social media is out there.
Has its impact,
It has a huge impact, and I'm respectful of kids who, especially born in Sahaj, take their birth now because they're working out so much. It's true what Mathieu said. In the Sahaj schools, we are working out everything that's going through the public schools and is outside. And there's some challenges, as Michaela said, that we just can't handle. And we know in terms of Muladhara that the compass is pointing in the wrong direction in many societies and many cultures. Now that also has an impact. It's such a beautiful thing. It's like Sahaj marriage as well. It's this aspect of our lives as yogis that Shamaji has blessed us with, Sahaj education or Sahaj marriage. But it's both an immense opportunity to grow, as we know, but certainly not for everyone. And in fact, there is a protection in the Sahaj schools, that's for sure. And kids who aren't here or who come and then leave perhaps have a strength that some of the kids who need to be. So we don't see it that way at all. Tremendous respect for all of the young people in Sahaj. And that's why if anyone comes, if they feel they don't want to be here, without fanfare, without drama, we sit and that's a respectable thing to say. And then they can go back home. There's no X, there's no black spot. Same way for a young person or any age to say, Sahaj marriage isn't for me. It's not for everyone. So the desire has to be very, very strong also from the child.
That's such a good point you make.
I think also on probably for you also in the Devi school, but on the learning difficulties, we actually Cabella school, we have to accept our limits. In a sense that some children have the learning difficulties that require a lot of follow-up. And if we don't have the staff in numbers, or if we don't have the skills and the expertise in-house, then we cannot provide what the child needs. And sometimes, and I understand that the parents say, it doesn't matter. We just want the vibrations. But actually it matters, because for a child to be every single day in a class and not being able to do what the teacher is asking you to do, it's a lot of frustration. It's a lack of self-esteem after, self-confidence. So this aspect is also very important to take into consideration.
Agreed. Right from the beginning, Lele, you said the children are the future, and we couldn't agree more. Those of us who are working in Sahaj schools, it's why we do it. Again, we're at the mercy of the Sangha staff, and of course, with inflation, the rise in the fuel costs and food and everything, the Sahaj schools are also always looking for donations. But somehow Shamanaji always works these things out. But in case there's some nice yogi or yogini who's listening to this podcast and still listening, who made it to the end, that it maybe the challenge is one that they're ready for, or they would like to try. We so eagerly encourage them to apply if they feel they have that pure desire. And if it doesn't work with older kids, we very happily would say, Mathieu, we have a very nice applicant. Perhaps they can come and work at the Cabella school, because we do work very closely together, all the Sahaj schools, and we always all need staff and donations.
For all the schools. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the children are. It's not any more important if they're in Canada or Italy or anywhere else. But to put that in the attention of more and more yogis is very important. Yeah.
Well, the work you all are doing is just absolutely incredible, and I can say as a parent, we feel so grateful for people who can be dedicated to a project like this, and it takes some really great souls and some really great yogis to fill these shoes, because it's not an easy task, and we just are eternally grateful for what you put into these projects and the dedication you give to it. So thank you for everything you're doing every day, all the meetings, all the plannings, all the organization, communication, everything to keep the boat afloat so that parents have children to send their kids to these schools.
Thank you, Pragya. But also, as you know, Pragya, you cannot give to Shri Mataji. She is giving you 1 million times more. And that's also maybe for the staff. It's not easy. No one would say being in a Sahaj school is easy. I don't think this is something we can say. But what Shri Mataji is giving you, it's amazing. And this closeness, in my humble experience, this closeness to Shri Mataji, I cannot see anywhere but it's in the Sahaj school. That you are so close to her, close to innocence, so close to the heart of Sahaj Yoga, in the subtle, but also in the daily life, in the daily being together, really collective life, and also challenges, and being together in the challenges. And
it seems like it wouldn't work if you were not like that, though, right? You have to be at the core and be at the heart of it, have that strong connection. Otherwise, it just would all sort of crumble if you don't have Shmaji at the center.
Yes, but she's giving.
Yes.
Yeah. As you said, if you have the desire, Shmaji will give the qualities, she will give the skills, the power, she will give everything. The amount of vibrations when we start the year and we come to Shmaji and we do Namaskar and we pray, and every weekly meeting when we ask for her guidance and her protection, it's really amazing to witness. Yeah. And so that's, for anyone who wants to give and who loves children and who wants to grow spiritually, I think there is no better place in the world.
Yeah, it's a big blessing. Big blessing.
Yeah, the sad thing about this episode is that it has to come to an end. Even though I have 1,000 questions to ask you, but this is a collective episode with all the schools, and we would like to dive deeper in the singular episodes so we can talk freely, one-to-one. It's gonna be way longer, and we can go more in depth with some topics.
Yeah.
But thank you very much. I think we can close it now, maybe.
But I just have one question.
Yeah.
I know we closed it. This is where the editing comes in. No, I was just going to say, Devi School is actually an acronym, because I think everybody thinks it's not, but that would be great to share. It's an acronym. It actually stands for something, each of the letters.
I didn't know that. Huh?
There you go.
Here I am.
When we started, we said, okay, the Devi School, it's Shmaji's school. But then we said, oh, that's also cool. We should also make it an acronym. So it's dignity, enlightenment, values, and integration. Yeah.
That's great.
If you ask the kids right now, maybe half would know. I don't know. Maybe less.
I wouldn't have known.
But that's why it's written with caps and not.
It's now on all report cards now.
The spelling. Okay, very good. That's why it's all in caps.
Yeah. That's why it's in caps. There you go. A little end tidbit to the podcast.
And whoever, again, who's still listening to the podcast, made it to the end, knows that fun fact about the Devi.
The finale. That'll be the final question on the quiz. Thank you so much for your time and for speaking and sharing about your schools. It's been super, super nice to listen to all of you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was really
Very
fun.
nice and joyful.
Thank you.
Thank you really much for joining. This was Sahaj Times. Thank you very much, Pragya. Thank you very much,
Thank you so much.
Mary and Michaela. Thank you very much, Uncle Mathieu. Thank you very much to everyone. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Really
Jai Shri
fun.
Mataji.
Bye.
Bye.
A little introduction, actually. This is going to be the beginning, possibly, of a series that we're going to do. The same way we have a series of episodes with Shimaraji, stories, maybe Yuva episodes, marriages. So one such series is going to be Sahaj Education. So we're really looking forward to have that. And again, a little background of how this came about. You might have noticed, actually, in the past couple of years, that there are 5 schools, Vienna, Canajoharie, Borothin, Cabella, and Devi schools. They have been communicating together through a newsletter. So all their activities, all their testimonials, they come out twice a year on a newsletter where they transparently and in a very loving way, they communicate to the collective to let them know what's up in Sahaj Education recently. And today, in this particular moment, for this part of the podcast, we have 3 of the schools. We're going to have the kindergarten and pre-kindergarten. So it's the Vienna school, Borothin, and Canajoharie. So I would say, without further ado, Lele, we can let them in and begin the podcast.
Yes, sure. Welcome, everyone, to the podcast, actually.
Welcome. Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji.
Jai Shri Mataji and welcome.
So, Fabri, I think we could waste time, but why should we waste time? So I might leave. If you need anything, you can call me. I'll be listening everything in the background. So you can call me anytime for any technical issue, for any type of thing. See you later.
Thank you.
Super. So welcome again, everyone. So this is our first episode of the series. Maybe we just start with a relatively simple question. Maybe we can start with Borothin. If you can tell us a little bit about the school, how many kids are there, a little bit in general, and how did you feel that the term or the year has been going so far? Some of your feeling. So Damini from Borothin School.
Jai Shri Mataji. Yes, indeed. My name is Damini, and I'm quite new in this representing Borothin, let's say. So my first term was last term, and now we are having the second term. So it was the autumn, and now it's spring. So since last time, from the autumn till now, there have been a lot of changings because, of course, it's a new start, it's a new team, and we want to establish a core team as well. So we had quite enough challenges, but also the thing that keeps going is we are seeing the beauty and the positive and its real meaning, the spiritual evolutions for all of us. And we can really see this little angels of mother, they are protected in all the way, and no matter how big we see the obstacles, they are fast resolving themselves.
Always solutions.
Yes. So we have capacity for 35 kids in the school. At the moment we have, as I mentioned before, 2 terms, spring and autumn. I'm coming from from far country. And you can help me with some questions to be more specified because otherwise everything comes in my head. So.
No, this is good. So I think I would say this was good intro. We'll just maybe do the roundabout with all the other schools. So just a quick intro, and then I can ask you some open specific question to all.
Perfect.
Auntie Teresa from Canajoharie, would you like to tell us a little bit about the school?
Yeah.
And the term?
I'm at the Canajoharie school. The school started in 2004. We ran till COVID, like everybody else, and took a break. We had 15, but since COVID, we haven't gotten back up to that number. I don't know, Borothin also, we always seems to be last term and this term struggling for staff. It's really been a real struggle. This term we ask parents, which we don't normally do.
Wow.
So that's been one of our struggles. But right now we're with 12 kids and moving along. It's I'm trying to think what else we know about the school. Just it's been, I think, an important staple in America that I
I was
believe.
about to say, I don't know about Borothin, but one thing because I lived in the US, one thing that is very nice about Canajoharie is that it's not just the school, but it's also the place where people come from Puja, and the collective is hosted there. That makes a nice synergy, no? In the
Yes.
summer,
Yeah.
operational. I
Yeah, and
feel
it's
like
nice because then the school also gets used for other things during this summer.
exactly.
Wellness camp and normal arts.
And it's almost like I feel also when you come there for puja, even though the kids are not necessarily there, you do feel the vibes, no? The innocence is kind of stays over the summer. So thank you for Canajoharie for your little introduction. And if we can have Vienna Joyful Children, Soma, if you want to tell us a little bit about the school.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Vienna Joy for Children is one of the oldest institution for education. It was founded by Srimataji herself, and Srimataji founded it in 1986. She came to Melika Gase ashram. The ashram, maybe some of the old yogis, they know. It was near the river Danube, and Srimataji came and she saw many small kids there, and she expressed her desire to start a kindergarten there.
Wow.
Yeah. So Srimataji then said that it will be nice to have a little kindergarten here because you have so many children here. And the kindergarten started, and it started with actually children from non-yogi parents, because VIC, the United Nations, is just near that place. Yeah, so it was advertised as English Montessori kindergarten.
Oh wow.
And then the VIC parents, some of them brought their children there, but then slowly the ashram children, they grew up and they joined also that kindergarten. Yeah. So
Beautiful.
in 1988, when Shimataji came, then she said that, okay, so which education policy you are following? So they said Montessori, and Shimataji said, okay, but you should stress on Sahaj Yoga education. The children should know Sahaj values, and children should grow up with Sahaj teachings. Yeah. So Shimataji expressed her really deep desire to teach the children Sahaj Yoga values and methods.
Wow. How many kids do you have now in Vienna kindergarten?
Now we are in a different building. We are not in the ashram anymore since long time. Yes, we moved to a small house, and then it happened that 14 years back we moved to a bigger house because there were many children in Sahaj Yoga. As you said, the more children we have, the bigger the Sahaj institution becomes. Yeah.
Needs to be,
So,
yeah.
yes, so we moved to a new house with 2 floors, and on top of that, a meditation room means 3 floors, and a big garden by Srimataji's blessings. And we have capacity for 14 plus 14 because we have 2 groups. The small group is called mouse group, and the big group is called elephant group. So we have capacity of 28 children, and we are full with 28 children now. We have children in waiting list now. So we are actually quite blessed about that. Yeah,
Wow.
but what happened is that when we moved to this big house, we had lots of yogi children. Yeah, means children from yogi parents. But after 2 years, it happened that there were hardly any newborn Sahaj babies. So we didn't had enough children to fill up 2 groups. So we had to advertise in Vienna city normal way to that, so that we get children from outside. And it happened like that many children who lives in the neighborhood they join our kindergarten. And when the non-yogi parents, they came, most of them, they found our kindergarten very special. When they came, they saw the gardens, and wow, in the city of Vienna, it's you don't get such a
It's
nice place.
beautiful. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have this big garden, then they come inside, then they start feeling the vibration, of course, and then they say, wow, it's so relaxed here, it's so joyful here. So what do you do? Yeah, of
They're
course we
attracted.
introduce. Yes. So then we introduce them to the fact that we meditate every day, and they all take it very nicely, and we are full with the yogi plus non-yogi children
Wow.
actually now. Yeah.
Wow. What's interesting about your school is that the kids are very young. Now, this is particularly for CJ and Borothin. So the kids come, and at that age, it's not the easiest thing to leave the parents and stay somewhere. So I can imagine the first couple of weeks are very critical. And of course, some kids handle it better, some kids less, and so on and so forth. How is it in general? How was this time, and what do you usually do to make that as smooth as possible, or what do you see that works really well? Open question to Borothin, Canajoharie. Who wants to take it first? Just go ahead.
I mean, for me, I find what works well is to drop off at Canajoharie. Some parents live far away, so we let them stay over one night. And I feel that really helps a lot because it helps their center heart. They see a little bit of the routine, they can see the vibrations, and if they've never been here before, it gives them a sense of security. I always go back to the parents. I feel if they can be secure, then the children are very secure. And I always tell the parents, especially the first time parents, the first term is for you to become more detached. And your job is to, when you miss them, it's okay, but try to put your attention somewhere else. If you have to go shoe beat yourself or help and I also like to empower the parents. There was one little girl who had center heart catch, and the mom felt it, which was great. And she says, after I get off the phone, I'll go and shoe beat it. She went and shoe beat it, and it was all good.
Wow.
So
it's true that most of the time the key is in the parents, right? Not so much in the kids because they forget fast or they move fast from one face to the other. But it's the
and if you can keep them in the present, and that's another discussion that could take a long time, is I've been here for 20 years. So where I've seen the kids gone from where I was in the beginning to now is completely different.
Wow.
I think and not that it's good or bad. I think that's their generation. They're going to have to work out these devices. That's their way of trying not to keep getting the lack of attention and into the right. Because the kids that were, and also when Shimadaji left her physical form, because then us are learning how to move forward on our own. And I find that since then and to now, the children's meditation has gotten much weaker. From when I was before, they could meditate for 10 minutes. Now you're lucky if you get 5.
Because you see throughout the 20 years, the effects of the technology and so on and so forth on the children. Well, that's really
and the other big thing is when Shimadaji left. It took time, but you can definitely see, because we're all trying, us adults are trying to figure it all out too.
It's like you're feeling the ripples of that goes through the parents and then it hits the kids. Oh, that's very interesting. Wow. Borothin, how is your experience with the drop-offs?
So I'm trying definitely to pick and learn very much from my older sisters with their experience, and I'm trying to also remember how it was when I was leaving my children and our experience being as a parent, and now to grasp information. So overall, our drop-offs go well. We cannot afford to have parents sleeping here because we are having all the dorms set, and we want, it's a different structure, let's say. So we encourage parents to come. So they come in that day. We are having lunch all together. I'm receiving the parents at the same place. We have a little corner in the kitchen. We take the documents, we chit chat, and then we try to meditate all together for a little time, but by eating a little bit together, meditating. So the atmosphere is serene. The staff supposedly come already 1 week before, so they are settled. The training is done, so we are prepared. So when the parents come with children, um, there is no tension from us, but then of course we tell to the parents that in these days they should do treatment, and of course
Yeah.
to start by telling the stories in the night when it's time for the children to. This is how I encouraged, and I think it worked a little bit. How the parents would say, before you came on the earth, you were on the heaven, and so there was this children that they wanted to come as a yogi, and then they were choosing Sahaj schools, like Ramayana, like all this incarnation.
Yeah.
So we are trying to introduce, because I did it with my kids, it worked, and we
Yeah.
encourage the parents as well.
Yeah.
And then of course, now we started some little presents. So parents, before they leave, they will give a little present.
Yeah.
So children get a little bit distracted, but they are definitely. We encourage parents to say we are grateful. It's okay. You will cry. You will be sad. It's normal. That will pass. And so of course we go with the Ajwan Duni, trying to do the treatments as much as
Yeah.
possible. And so in the next days, we know all of them, of course, they miss. They are melancholic. No, we rarely have cases where where children will scream and be,
Yeah.
because they are kind of prepared. So by doing a lot of vibrational support and the treatments, and we ensure that the staff is well prepared and they do not shout, they
Yeah.
do not get anxious. If they are calm, the children absorb, and I try to
Wow.
satisfy as much as possible the parents by with a little video to reassure them. The
Yeah.
ones
Yeah.
who come first time, of course they will have. It's a big deal to have basically the parents and children separated for the first time. We all know
Yeah.
it's a Sahaj purpose, and it's a very deep, has a deep meaning, but we want to reassure the parents and the children. So for us, it's
Yeah.
to give as much as reassurance as possible by little videos, little stories here and there, and everybody is satisfied. So and then it goes faster.
Now to bring it a bit back to Vienna, as a for the listeners, Vienna is of course a bit different because they have younger kids, and also it's not a boarding school. So we'll jump a
Yeah.
bit in and out on the different topics. Maybe one
Yeah.
question for Soma is, you have both, as you actually mentioned, born realized, if you wish, kids and kids that come from the outside. How do
Yes.
they interact, and also how the ones from outside interact with Sahaj in Vienna?
Yeah, so it's a daycare school, yeah, as we all know by now. It starts from 8 to 5, yeah. So, and we have now percentage, I can say that 70-30, yeah, 70 from yogi children, and 70 and 30 from non-yogi parents, yeah. So when the dynamic is that we have more yogi children, then it's easier to handle the situation.
Okay.
But now we have many small children coming who are yogis, from yogi parents. So in Mao's group, there are more yogi children than non-yogi children. But in our group, I work with the bigger ones, the preschool ones. So we have more non-yogi parents' children than yogi parents' children. So it's a bit different now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have to really, means when we do the meditation, we have to see that, yeah, that these children, these non-yogi parents children, they can take everything. We can't do it like we used to do with only yogi parents children, or
Yeah.
when we had more yogi parents children. Yeah, so we see every day the dynamic is different. But when we have one or two solid yogi parents children who can give an example, the meditations are much better.
Nice.
And these non-yogi parents, children, they learn very quickly from all of us, because we are all setting an example how to be a nice yogi. Yeah. So the children are like sponge. They absorb they absorb bad things and good things both very fast. So we have to see that which kind of examples we are setting up. Yeah. So but as I say, means now we have more non-yogi parents children in our group, but we just see day by day how it is going, and which kind of learning things we can give them, which kind of Sahaj values we can give them, and how much they can take it. Yeah, we take from the scratch. But when 2 years back we had more yogi parents children, and it was fantastic. Some of the non-yogi parents children, I still remember the uh, one Philippine girl. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
not from a yogi background. How she meditated, how deep she went. Means when she meditated, we could see she's meditating even better than some of the yogi children. And when she left
Amazing.
when she left the kindergarten the last day, I asked her, so what was your best moment in this kindergarten? Yeah, playing with the children or playing in the garden. Anything you can say. You know what she answered? She answered, Auntie, the moment when I meditated and the peace which I felt was my best moment. This
Wow.
6 years old,
Beautiful.
6 years old. Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's the difference it makes. That's the beauty of changing, means the whole behavior of a child in these few years. They come very early. If they start from mouse group, they start when they are 2 years old. Yeah. So they are quite
Wow.
long time with us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. That was really, really nice. Going back to the children that we were talking about, one other question that just came up to my mind is, I don't know if you would agree. Again, maybe we go back to Canajoharie and Borothin, but the children can do so much more than what the parent expects. Meaning, eating food, sitting down for meditation. Actually, even to me, it happened like your kids goes to the school, come back, and it just eats everything, and you're like, what happened to you? And it's quite amazing to see how does that transformation takes place, because some kids are already fairly good, I've noticed, but some they come that maybe they don't eat, and then all of a sudden eat everything, or their parent says, oh, my kid doesn't meditate, or there's really tough time to make them sit, and then in the school they do. How does that take place? Anyone? Damini, if you want to start with that.
Okay. So that's actually a very recent point, of course. We have already more than 3 weeks since the term started, and we were actually talking amongst aunties and uncle how wondered, and when they had the phone call with the parents were surprised. How is this possible? So I think just by living in collective life for them, we are not anymore in the how it's happening at home. It's beautiful. It's the love at the small nucleum in the family. So they are, of course, in the center of the attention. And it's just natural. Once they come here, they are open to it's a mini society, basically. And they are integrating themselves. They just fall into this routine, into this process that we need to integrate. So this is what they learn, and it comes natural. So for example, I'm encouraging also the staff, aunties and uncle, when we are in the meditation room, of course, if adults manage to have their cleanings and the meditation before, they will already have a balanced state, even though if sometimes some nights are without sleep enough and so on. But I'm encouraging that when we are in the meditation room, if the adults are in that state, then we transmit that to the children.
Right.
I don't feel comfortable when we will be, as an adult, stay straight, close your eyes, open your hands. It doesn't come from my heart, in my opinion. For every situation on other schools might work differently. But what I feel here, that if we will push them, be like this, close, don't, and we will keep insisting, they will learn to do it automatically because they want to please us by nature. But we don't know yet. He closed his eyes, he looks straight, but that doesn't mean that they are
Is he really
feeling the
meditating?
love,
Yeah.
and if they are in connection. So I feel at this age we should also make sure to keep the discipline. They should not talk with each other, they should not play, but if they are there in a meditative state, one may look at the ceiling, one might look at Shimataji, some of them may have closed eyes, and you could feel vibrations are there. So this happens naturally.
Yeah.
And then they look around, and then they see their favorite auntie or their favorite uncle, okay. And they are looking and they are analyzing. Okay, let me try again. And they try by example. So I feel we should not push, and it goes and it happens spontaneously. And with food, I would say they are fussy 1 time, 3 time, 4 time, until they get really hungry and they say, I need to eat. And then they, of course, and we encourage them. We do not force them to eat, of course, because that makes, again, the opposite effects. We encourage, and we say, okay, you like more the rice, you don't vegetables, then at least try a little bit of the vegetables. And next time, if you want rice, vegetables, and meat, for example, and they want more meat, you say, especially, for example, boys, girls are less fussy, but it depends. And you say, okay, you finished your rice, if you finished your meat, or if you want to eat your meat, just try a little bit of vegetables. The next time you will eat more, and so on.
You slowly build it up.
Yes, because and then they learn to trust us. We don't need to build tension or to force, and so slowly it works out.
Auntie Therese, how is it in Canajoharie?
Yeah, the same. I think the one thing that we do here, is we have a collective meditation with the adults first, and I'm really big on that. Everybody comes because when you, like you were saying, you get all together on that same vibrational plane, or then you're able to help the children, because it's like cogs in the wheel, right? If we're all meditating, we're all flowing together, and then when we can do that, then we can help the children. And again, and when we lead our meditations, it's nice because I try to, you have aunties in different places, so you don't always have to speak to correct somebody. You just touch with your hand, or if you're behind them and you see somebody really struggling, you just keep raising their kundalini and work on them. You know the ones that need the help, you kind of put them in the back and you work on them a little bit, and they're able to go into meditation too. So, and the food too. It's. I had a little boy the other day who was struggling with carrot soup, and I said, you just take little bites, but you can't stop. You just take little bites, and before you know it, it's gone. And he did it, and now that's his thing. He's going around saying, when you take little bites, you can still eat really fast. You can take big bites too and eat really fast, but little bites you can eat fast too. So I think it's encouraging them and showing. And I love when they feel like they've accomplished something. When he finished the soup, he felt so proud. Like, I did it. I really did it. And for me, that's really important, to show them that they have it within themselves, and like empower them. Like we have a Havan every Saturday. And if children are having nightmares, we try to remember, you want to throw that in the Havan. You don't want it anymore. Throw it away. I remember one term we had a boy, he had nightmares every night. And he used to draw. And I said, why don't you draw them? And then we can offer that in the Havan.
Oh, nice.
And then about going back to when drop off to, the mother says, of course, he was the only child. He says, of course, he doesn't want to go there. His ego everything gets met for him at home. I know why he cries when he comes here, but he doesn't get everything met, because he has to share his attention with all his brothers and sisters, which he doesn't have to do at home,
Absolutely.
Being an only child. So it's nice. I love that too, because they get to be a bigger brother here sometimes and learn how to do that. So it's very, to me, very sweet.
Vienna Kindergarten, you told us a little bit about the meditations before. One thing I wanted to ask also now, on a different topic, maybe we start from Vienna. I'm often in touch with Cabella because until recently my kids were there. And what I found it interesting is that almost every semester there is something going on which is a bit different from the previous one. There is sometimes a focus on center heart, sometimes is the swaddest. Like it's almost like your washing machine in the schools, and you pick up something, and then that semester is all about that. Not necessarily all the time, but maybe we start from Vienna and then we go around. Are you experiencing something like that this year, or or maybe in the past, something that you remember very clearly about that?
Yeah, means you are talking about that if we are experiencing somewhere it's not flowing, you mean
Yeah, a
vibrational.
specific catch or a specific workout that you feel you're doing.
Yeah, it's yeah, we always feel it when we start with the term. At September, we start with the term. So at that time, the some of the new children from mouse group, they come up to the elephant group, yeah. Or if
Yeah.
any new children from outside they want to join, they come at the beginning of the term. At that time mostly you feel the center heart, yeah, because
Mm.
it's a change, it's emotional change for parents and also for the children. So of course then we work on center heart and settling down. So we work on muladhara and also on
Mm-hmm.
center heart together, so that the children can get settled down and they have this faith grown inside them that they can trust Srimataji and they can trust us as their teachers. Yeah. So
Nice.
this we work on. And during the how the term goes, then we start feeling different things. Yeah. So for now, for example, there is a little boy who is little bit unsettled, and we saw that something is in left Swadhisthana. Yeah,
Oh,
so we are
interesting.
working on left Swadhisthana.
Sorry, Canajoharie
Yeah.
too. Left Swadhisthana is big this term.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So last week, I'm giving an example of last week. Until we worked on our left Swadhisthana and everybody's, all the children's left Swadhisthana, specifically this child left Swadhisthana, we couldn't meditate properly. Yeah. It's not
Wow.
like the boarding school that they are all the time in this bubble of vibration.
Yeah,
Yeah. They go home, they come back, and it's all
Mm.
different. Every day is different. Yeah. In
that's true because they go
yeah,
back home and come back. Yeah, it's a bit
Yeah.
more mixed.
then
Yeah.
come back. Yeah. And specifically, they all go back home, and half of them are not again in the environment where they're meditating in
Mm.
the evening or doing
Yeah.
a foot soak or
So
something like
yeah.
that. Yeah. So it's we see every day how you feel and how they feel. But the one thing what we found very nice is that when the children are meditating and let's say something is disturbing. So maybe one child is meditating nicely or two. Then we say, wow, look at um, let's say Damini. Yeah, let's say
Mm-hmm.
Damini. Look at Damini. She's meditating so nicely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and then all the other children they really try that they
Mm.
become like Damini.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
yeah. So
It works.
rather
It
than
works.
telling that okay, you sit still and you look straight or this and that, we try to bring the positive things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Look,
Yes.
she's
Yes.
meditating
Yes.
nicely. She's getting cool vibrations. She's taking the vibrations from Shimataji. Yeah, and then they all try. Yeah, auntie, I'm also drawing now. So
Yeah.
they are very sweet. Yeah, yeah. So we try to give the positive example,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
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 So we are handling like this day by day. At the moment we feel left Swadhisthana, so we are working on left Swadhisthana, and
Mm.
of course Sasrara Puja is coming, so we are telling lots of stories about Shimataji, the Sasrara Chakra. Uh, You know, we follow in Vienna kindergarten. It's called Wiener Bildungsplan. Is that Vienna educational plan? We have to follow that.
Yeah.
All the kindergartens and schools, yeah, and we
Mm-hmm.
integrate of course Sahaj themes and values inside. Yeah, for example, now we are Sasrara Day is approaching, so we are talking a lot about Sasrara Chakra and also about rainbow, the colors and the experiments and of forming rainbow, light, reflection, refraction, and also mixing of the primary, secondary colors, things like that. Yeah, and also they are means doing craft and paintings about this thousand petal lotus, how it looks in their imagination. And with the craft, they put that lotus on the head and balancing on the head, and then they say, yeah, that's the point, yeah, where we have to keep attention during meditation. Yeah, we just do it playfully, how we can, yeah,
For the
with the
age, because
guidance
of
of
the age they
Shimataji.
have, exactly. And
Yes, yes.
and Borothin, did you vibrationally, either this semester or the previous one, did you feel you worked on something in particular?
Oh yeah, definitely. Last,
Oh yeah.
definitely last one, the first one, autumn one, because it was the first for us, our team that we are now. So we are a few of us, stable, permanent team. We are trying to build more, and so we felt a big workout, but in spite of that, children very nicely they enjoyed big workout in the sense that we saw, let's say, some issues in the kitchen. We will put attention there and we will do a couple of havans, and then pujas, balancing between pujas and havans. And we felt basically, because every time term starts, we will start with Shri Ganesha, and then we will go up. And so through the whole term, we managed to work out Muladhara. We felt that is working. Muladhara, Svatistan, Nabi, Center Heart. Then we stopped at Vishuddhi for a while. Then we went up, and so on. For example, this term, we feel. So the children came, the normal settlement process is starting, and then we say, I think we should all improve right heart. So nothing particular happens. We felt like in the whole
An
attention it came.
intuition.
Yes. And then it started to work out. And you could see physically, we all had a little virus amongst us, and then it was on the Vishuddhi, and then Shimataji said that outside the exterior Vishuddhi, it's Shri Krishna, and inside it's Shri Rama. And then we could see it, how it moves and it works.
Wow.
And it's so beautiful. And we actually start now watching Ramayana episodes.
Oh, that's
To
nice.
combine, to give a little purpose at the end of the day. Of course, we
Beautiful.
start them. Yeah. So we
Beautiful.
start with the morning meditations as well for staff, and in the evening meditations for staff, and then some meetings to be all together and to see the children from all points of view, to see how we can improve this weekly meetings. And of course it's much more easier to work out than Soma was saying, because we are living together. So definitely it's very much respect, because there they go out, they come, and it's a bit more yes.
It's also nice that what you were saying, that they watch the Ramayana. Once I've heard a yogi say
It's
that
for adults, so we watch adults. So first we want to imbibe.
Okay.
And
The adults. Okay.
Yes.
I
So
like how
right.
you put. It seems like in Borothin you put a lot on effort, not only on the kids but on the staff. It's like this because it's the critical component that if the staff are right, then you pass on those vibes to the. It's actually a very interesting point.
Actually, I've seen it. I've seen it clearly. If we manage to have balanced people, because sometimes in volunteering school, actually, it's very difficult to have a constance in good quality yogis. But we are trying to make sure that the adults feel safe, the adults feel loved, the adults feel, because if they feel that they are passing it so easy to the kids, and the kids absorb it, and I'm telling you, effortless, they feel at home, because the adults are balanced. And of course collective treatments together, But if we say, okay, let's treat the children, and we all treat the children, but us adults don't do
Yeah.
the effort. So
I mean, don't want to make this point too long, but I was thinking probably even very balanced adults, it can still be challenging because you sleep little, you're constantly running after the kid, you have less time for yourself, so you really need to be on the top of your game, even if you come in balanced maybe,
correct,
but there's a
correct.
lot going on all the time. I mean, from what I've seen, so it's really that attention from the top that goes down to all the stuff is seems like such a key element to
Yeah,
function
because
in
it's
school.
not only the kids working things out, it's the adults too.
The adults, yeah, yeah. uh, Auntie Teresa in Canajoharie, how did you feel recently? Any workout going on, vibrational trends?
Yeah. Um, this term, it's the left side. Wow.
Lots of left side, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of left side. We did string burning with the kids the other day to try to help all of, them and us, and us aunties have been trying to put it on, introspecting and seeing what it was. But, we just, yeah, I don't
Wow.
know. I don't know why, but it
Yeah,
tends to be left Swadhisthana, left heart.
it's been coming around.
Yeah.
This is a topic that we won't be able to discuss tonight,
No.
because also we don't have that much time. But I was also thinking, um, considering how good quality stuff you need, and even if you have good stuff, that it can be tough because you're exhausted and all that. I think it really makes a strong case for the fact that we should, as an entire collective, look after this stuff very well
Yeah.
at all levels, financially, in terms of respect, in terms of support. I feel it's a big topic, not for tonight because
Yeah.
it probably takes a whole podcast. But I just wanted to throw it out there. I Every time I meet, it's not just the director, but it's everyone who works in a school. You just feel like this person is giving their life, and they love your kids the same way you love them, almost like
Yeah.
that's that same, and you really just feel you want to give everything to them. And I think it's a very fair point to make, and a good lesson to learn within the collective. I think it's very nice.
Yeah. I think
Even,
what came from our last term is with the aunties we had here and the staff is really having faith. You really got to keep bringing it back to Shamanaji. Even I mean, you could talk about pay, you could talk about time off, but it's when you have that bhakti and you realize what you're giving and what you get back. And I
Yeah.
used to always tell the aunties, you don't know what punyas you're getting and what punyas you're bringing back home to your collective, to your country, because
Yeah.
we've had a lot of ladies from Colombia, Brazil, Finland, Estonia. It's really, and it's hard on a mental level, but when you
Yeah.
really go home and you start to feel it on your heart,
Wow.
what you get from all this. And I think it's that trust and respect, goes back to that.
Respect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Acknowledgement also, that work, huh?
Yes. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
and beyond the, if I may interrupt,
Of
beyond the
course.
punyas and all the blessings, I feel we should always remind yuvas, mothers and grandmothers who feel the need to come and support and offer their help to Sahaj schools.
Mm.
It's a lot that it's incredible. It's a small society, basically. It's a small community. It's a because you have the kids, and if you take some mothers also, I'm trying now, for example, to have open door. Of course, we always check vibrations to the mothers. The mothers sometimes they have this power and this drive to come
Mm.
and work because they know the importance
Mm.
for their children to be in this environment, and they will come with such a power sometimes that they can replace, for example, three yuvas. This
Wow.
doesn't mean that yuvas are excluded. We also have now a yuva, for example, that she's amazed. She has 19, 20 years, and she's amazed. And she says, "Oh, I did not expect that. After a few weeks, I feel like I love them so much." And then I
Wow.
told them, you don't need to give birth to become a mother. So they were like, oh, I'm so happy. And this, for example, we have these elements we can bring to the sangha and to the collectivity, that yuvas that come there, they learn to, and they will feel the mother qualities.
It's a
Uncles, we
growth
have,
within themselves. Yeah.
yes, and then they love it. And then we have a yuva
Yeah.
boy also who is in the dorm as being uncle, and he said, I feel like when I was in the castle, it's very beautiful, but I was in a holiday of vibrations. It's amazing. I'm showered, but I feel like he's quite new in Sahaja Yoga, but so deep. And he says, no, I want to come and work hard because I want to evolve more. And then he was in the
Wow.
teaching and he said, I feel like I can push myself more. And then now he's in the dorm. And such a good, surprisingly, when you see somebody with so strong desire to evolve, and then they will understand the meaning. And then for mothers, for example, they come with kids and they understand the importance, and then they will try to become mother for all the others. They will not have the differences, or and so you could see this beautiful society, mini society, when you have the yuvas, the aunties, the grandmothers, and it's just beautiful. It's
Yeah.
just beautiful.
It's a society in itself.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a microcosm.
Yes.
If you have some generic practical advice for parents when they get the kids back, how can they help the school best to maintain that sorts of, vibrational state, but also, I don't know, emotional? What, as a parent, when I get my kid back from the school for those 3 months, what can I do? How can I help them best? How can I help the school best? Maybe Canajoharie, we will start.
I feel for what I saw was first time ones, I say keep a little bit of the routine, but for me, I said don't make it so like parents want their kids to meditate. I said, yeah, but you don't, just let them wash your Mataji's feet and do arti. For me, they're showing their devotion and their vibrations are there. Don't expect them to sit so long.
Mm-hmm.
But, and my big thing, especially I know kids leaving here, and maybe sometimes here they go into public school because we only run for 3 months, off 3 months, and then on 3. Some go back into the kindergarten. I said, please make them foot soak. That's
Exactly. Yeah.
minimum of minimum. Make them foot soak when
Yeah.
they come home.
Yeah.
Don't let them give you excuses and stuff
Yeah.
like this.
But basically experience meditation in a joyous way that they can understand, and maybe
Yeah.
focus on devotion, because at that time, at that age, they connect to Shimaraji fairly easily, possibly.
Yeah.
Borothin, what would you suggest to the parents? What would help the kids and the school?
I will just remember to say that it's important for us as a parent to not be anxious and to insist and to put, because it makes the opposite effect to the children, and to make sure we are a good channel for them, because indeed they are sponges, like Auntie Soma wanted to say. I'm auntie. We are in the kindergarten. Everybody's auntie and uncle.
Everybody's auntie. We call each other aunties.
Yes. And so yeah, to make sure you do it by bhakti, also like Auntie Teresa was saying. Yeah, most important. And to be relaxed, that because they grow, and the more as a family we maintain roots, trust, faith, again, like Auntie Teresa was saying, like our sister, then children will see, okay, I see my mother has a trust and she's fine. She's a respectable yogi. I want to be the same. She's not anxious person. I want to be the same. So they will just pick up the example from us. The only effort we need to do is to make sure we are always in gratitude, because that awakens the devotion and the humbleness, and then the kids just pick up and everything comes spontaneous. You are just at a river or walking in the nature, and then you see a flower, you see a leaf, and then every little moment comes a tool for you to fall into the meditation, and then they follow you because they just see how you're enjoying, and they want to do the same. Just so I would say to the parents, just make sure you are enjoying first of all.
Soma, do you have any little advice for the parents of kids of that age? You want to add anything to what was said so far?
Yes, means of course, means we become the good example in the kindergarten to show them how we are. And of course, the children, they suck from different places, different things, from the society, from the home, from the grandparents. We never know from where. I was just telling the story, but I don't know, shall I tell it if I want to tell it?
Yeah, actually, I think it was a nice story. It's a a good example. Yeah.
Yeah, so with the yogi parents, we can talk frankly. We can tell, okay, see, your child is now little bit sad emotionally. Maybe you can work on her left side when she goes home, or maybe the whole family together. You can sit together and sing some songs in praise of Shima Kali or something like that. You can do. Of course, regular foot soak is recommended, and the most important thing is let the child feel, how you say, feel the bhakti to Shimataji. Just wash Shimataji's feet. When they do some activity like washing Shimataji's feet or putting perfume, they become thoughtless themselves. Just offering a flower from the heart, or they made a craft flower and just offering that flower to Shimataji, that brings the bhakti in them, and they become thoughtless at that moment. Yeah. So at home, as we meditate in our kindergarten, let's say at least half an hour with all the children in the morning, so they don't need to do a big meditation arrangement at home because they are tired when they go home after 5. Yeah, so a foot soak and little family meditation together with offering flower or little worship Shimataji with perfume and things. It's just fine. Just they have to have this feeling of devotion and bhakti in their heart. And the most important thing is that when a child is misbehaving, then we say that you look at Shimataji. For some children, it's very difficult to look at Shimataji at that point. Yeah, look at Shimataji, look at her smiley face. Do you think this behavior is making Shimataji happy? The child immediately changes. We have an example of a yogi child. Yeah, she sometimes uh, gets something of disturbance from somewhere, and then as soon as we remind her, just look at Shimataji. See, Shimataji is smiling at you, and Shimataji wants you to be happy, and she immediately changes.
Beautiful.
See, immediate. It's an
Beautiful.
immediate reaction. And for, of course, for non-yogi parents, we can't tell that you go and do foot soak and stuff at home, but uh, we give bandhan to them. Yeah, when we see a child is having problem or something, we just our team, we sit together, we meditate together. After the kindergarten, we give bandhan to them, and sometimes it's resolved in a very nice way. Some I will give you an incident that what happened just last year, that one child was reacting very much with meditation. She was at the beginning just normal with meditation and everything, but suddenly she started reacting, and we gave her bandhan and worked on that child, and nothing would change. Yeah, but then we thought of calling a parents meeting, a general meeting with all the parents, yogi parents and non-yogi parents. And in the meeting, the first thing what we did, that we gave all of them realization. Means yogis, they knew already, but for the non-yogi parents it was new, that we said all the affirmations, how Shimataji gave realization: I'm the spirit, I'm not guilty, and all the affirmations. And at the end, Shimataji, please make me aware, who am I? Am I the spirit? And make me the whole of one pervading, one with whole pervading power. Yeah, so when we did that, the most of the parents, they felt the joy. And what happened to this child? Next day she changed. This child was for 2 months doing really going really crazy, reacting very badly. And from one day to the next, she was a different child, a new child. So it shows that most of the things we don't know from where it is coming from
Where it
and
comes
how we
from.
handle it. So with Shimataji's guidance, we always overcome it. But yeah, it's every incident is a new experience for all of us. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that very nice story. And quite frankly, I would love to have 3 more hours chatting because it's been amazing, and there's always so much more to learn. And again, I also like a lot how every school really brings a flavor, maintaining the Sahaj roots, the Sahaj teachings, but a flavor maybe of the country or the people that work in it. Tonight was quite beautiful to see how you do things slightly different, but it's all coming from the heart and going with attention to Shimaraji. But so to conclude, a big thank you to Auntie Teresa, to Damini, Auntie Soma. I think it's I'm not exaggerating, but I think on behalf of the entire collective of the entire world, you possibly everybody agrees that you do, if not the most important, but top 3 most important job in Sahaj that one can ever do. Like, maybe there is NIPC, there is the pujas, but definitely hits top 3, I would say, Sahaj, if not the most important. And it's really something that is invaluable. As Lele was saying, it will carry on our Sahaj culture into, the next century. So you are really looking after this incredible soul. So again, thank you so much for coming, sharing your wisdom with us. We really enjoyed your presence.
Thank you.
We enjoy too, Jason.
Yeah, Jai
Jai
Shimanaji.
Shri Mataji.